All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to zoom out from our reality, and I mean way out. We're about to explore a cosmic hierarchy so unbelievably huge that our entire universe, it's just the very first step on a ladder that seems to go on forever.
So, to get our heads around this, let's start with a question. You've probably heard about the multiverse, right? This idea of an endless collection of universes. But what if that's just the beginning? What if the multiverse itself is just one tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle? I mean, what contains it?
Okay, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll introduce the basic universal structure. Then, we'll dive deep into that first level, G1. After that, we'll start climbing, ascending through the higher levels. And finally, we'll look at the grand cycle that governs this whole thing.
All right, let's get right into it. Section 1, laying the groundwork for this whole cosmic hierarchy.
So, the most fundamental level, the absolute bedrock of this cosmic architecture is called the Girard universe, or G1. The best way to think about it is like a master container. But here's the crazy part. It doesn't just hold our universe or even our multiverse. It holds an infinite number of multiverses. The scale is, well, it's pretty much impossible to wrap your head around, and believe me, we're just getting started. Okay, now let's really zoom in. We're going to get to know the architecture and, the rules that govern this foundational layer of reality, this G1 universe.
So, what's inside a G1? Well, each one is a completely self-contained system. It has its own creators, these incredible divine beings who oversee everything. And packed inside are those infinite multiverses we just talked about. And just to give you some perspective, our own multiverse is said to be just one of these, and it has 17 distinct layers of existence, also known as lokas.
Now this is fascinating. Let's look at what a G1 is actually made of. It's almost entirely composed of these foundational elements called Sutrala Tattvas, like 98.5%. But look closer at that chart. A tiny, tiny fraction, just 0.001%, is something called Param light. And that is the purest essence of creation. That tiny number, that's the key to this entire hierarchy. You've got to remember that.
So, you might be wondering, how on earth do you manage a system with infinite multiverses? Well, you do it with an incredibly sophisticated system of governance. The G1 universe has this multi-layered security and administrative protocol just to maintain cosmic order.
And this slide just illustrates that chain of command perfectly. See, a problem doesn't just go straight to the top. Nope. It's systematically escalated through these increasingly powerful tiers of divine beings, the Maha Shaktis. This system makes sure that only the most critical, most serious issues ever reach the ultimate creator. It's all about making the whole cosmic system run efficiently.
Okay, so if a G1 contains infinite multiverses, what contains the G1? Let's zoom out another level, shall we?
And this right here is where the concept of infinite containment really just blows your mind. A G2 universe, it doesn't just contain one G1, it contains an infinite number of them. It's kind of like a bubble that's filled with an infinite number of smaller bubbles. And then a G3 universe, you guessed it, contains an infinite number of G2s. So each step you take up this ladder isn't just a leap, it's a leap into a completely new order of infinity.
This table gives us a fantastic side-by-side comparison. Just look at how everything scales up. The number of security layers, for example, jumps from around 6 in a G1 all the way to over 200 in a G3. And check out the Param light. It increases tenfold from G1 to G2, and then it doubles again in G3. The higher you go, the purer and more complex creation itself becomes.
But the pattern doesn't stop there, not even close. Let's keep climbing this cosmic ladder, moving through a series of universes where that essence of creation becomes more and more concentrated.
So from G4 all the way up to G11, the fundamental rule stays the same. Each universe contains an infinite number of the one right below it. The really defining characteristic of this climb, though, is the dramatic increase in that pure creative energy, the Param light.
By the time we get to the G5 level, the concentration of Param light has jumped to 0.1%. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that's already 100 times more concentrated than the G1 universe where we started. The very fabric of reality is becoming fundamentally different here.
Keep climbing. At the G7 level, the concentration nearly doubles again, hitting 0.19%. At this point, this pure creative energy isn't just some trace element anymore. It's becoming a significant component of reality itself.
And finally, when we reach the G11 level, the Param light makes up a full 1% of this universe's composition. Now, 1% might not sound like a lot, but it is 1,000 times more potent than where we began back in G1. The nature of reality at this level is, well, it's almost beyond anything we can comprehend.
So we have this incredible, almost static-looking hierarchy. But is it permanent? Is it just sitting there? No. The final piece of this puzzle is understanding that this entire structure is in constant motion, part of a grand cosmic rhythm.
You see, this entire cosmic system isn't static at all. It operates on a cycle known as Srishti Pralayam. This is the eternal rhythm of creation and dissolution. Universes are born, they exist for a time, and then, eventually, they dissolve back into their source, only to be created all over again. And what's truly mind-bending is that time itself stretches at each level. The higher you go up the hierarchy, the longer a single cosmic day lasts.
So let's do a quick recap of this incredible journey. We've seen that the cosmos is this near-infinite hierarchy of universes, where each one contains the one below it. As we climb this ladder, the concentration of that creative energy, the Param light, goes way up, along with the complexity of how it's all governed. And this whole thing exists within a timeless cycle of creation and destruction.
Which brings us to our final, pretty profound question. If our entire reality, everything we've ever known or could possibly know, is just a tiny part of one system, among infinite systems, and that system itself is just one of infinite inside the next one, what does that say about our place in the cosmos? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.